All right. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to this departmental orientation by Department of Electrical Engineering. Firstly, a hearty welcome to all of you and congratulations on your admission. My name is Rajlakshmi Chauhan. I am the faculty advisor for B21, that's your batch, electrical engineering. And I'll be helping you through your registration process. And if you have any questions, please do reach out to me. I have already mailed you. I am sorry for the interruption. I am getting some admit requests in between. In case you already have a WhatsApp group among your friends, now that you already have an IITJ ID, please prefer to join this orientation through your IITJ ID. You will not have to ask to join. Right. So thank you again, all of you, for joining us. I hope your parents are also with us in this program. Right now, I would request everyone to keep their mics on mute and videos on mute. At the end, however, I would request you all to turn on your cameras for a group photograph. We have a lot of exciting things, activities planned for welcoming you all today. And I would now request to start with, I would request our Department Head, Dr. Arun Kumar Singh, to deliver his opening address. Dr. Singh.
So good afternoon, students, and very welcome to the Department of Electrical Engineering of IIT Jodhpur. I have a very short presentation for you. So just to give a brief outline about what our department is and what you can expect, you will have enough time to explore things on your own when you are on campus. But in the meantime, I will just give you some glimpses about what our department is. And other faculty members will also share their other related information. And let me just share the screen. I think it's okay. So the vision of our department is to generate and disseminate knowledge and develop technologies in emerging domains of electrical engineering to meet the national and global needs. We are the largest department of IIT Jodhpur. We have a faculty strength of 32. And in terms of cumulative experience, in terms of years of experience, also we are the biggest department by far from as compared to any other department of the institute. Right now we have a student strength of around 450 students. The BTech program in electrical engineering was started with the founding of IIT Jodhpur. That was 2008. The most recent revision of curriculum was done in 2019 to reposition ourselves to meet the emerging needs of the society. The department offers both undergraduate as well as postgraduate programs. In UG program, you are the students who have just joined. There's the first year students, that's BTech in electrical engineering. And as it would have been told to you in the orientation program on 1st and 2nd December, all the options which are available to students of IIT Jodhpur BTech program are available to BTech electrical engineering students also, which is you can have a regular BTech, you can have a BTech with department specialization or interdisciplinary specialization, you can have BTech with minor, or you can convert your BTech into BTech or BTech MTech or BTech MBA dual degree program. At postgraduate level, we offer master's program in cyber physical systems and sensors and IoT, and dual degree MTech PhD programs in communication and signal processing, sensors and IoT, cyber physical systems, and PhD. Majorly, if we look at it, so electrical engineering is a very vast domain, and we have faculty members working in different aspects of electrical engineering, which all cannot be listed here. But if we try to group all the activities and map it with the technology tracks which are popular or can be understood by industry as well as academia, then we can say that the research and teaching which is done at IIT Jodhpur in electrical engineering can be categorized into these 7 technology tracks: 5G and beyond communication, signal processing and interpretation, cyber physical systems, nano electronics and integrated circuits, smart grid, embedded computing and system on chip design, and artificial intelligence of things. So these are basically the technology tracks where you can see, if you are following any kind of technological development these days, these are the areas which are growing really fast. And we do have faculty members who have done wonderful work in past on these areas, and they are still actively pursuing these areas as their research areas. So students, even the BTech students, will have the possibility to join and do cutting edge work on these technology tracks during their BTech program as part of their design projects, BTech projects, course projects, right, and internships. And like I said, we have a well-established department because it started with the foundation of institute, and we have state-of-art labs for many domains. These are listed here. Most information is also available on the website. This is just a glimpse from what we have put on website, so you can go through that. There is a virtual tour of department which will allow you to see these things slightly more better, and then you can always get in touch with the faculty colleagues, me, or your faculty advisor if you have any questions related to any of these research and teaching facilities what we have at our department. This slide is more about what are the salient features or unique features of BTech program in electrical engineering. But since most of you have spent already last 2 days, hearing about what are the unique features of the program, BTech program at IIT Jodhpur. So this is just a subset. So I will not go into the details. In the next slide, I have just one special detail, which is important for all of you to know, that the department offers 9 specializations where you can opt for BTech with specialization. These specializations are cyber physical systems, communication engineering, intelligent communication and networking, visual computing, socio-digital reality, artificial intelligence of things, VLSI system, nano and flexible electronics, smart grid, engineering innovation. Many of these specializations are jointly offered by Department of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science, and some of them are also jointly offered with mechanical engineering. And what we can see here is that these are just names, but there will be faculty members in the later half of this interaction who will be talking about what these specializations are. And at least it can allow you to have some fair idea about what kind of work as a student of this department you would be able to carry out. With this short presentation, I would like to stop, and I would like to hand over to Dr. Rajlakshmi Chauhan for taking this orientation program forward. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. Again, on behalf of the entire department, people who have just joined in, welcome to Department of Electrical Engineering. We have a lot of activities planned for welcoming you today. We just finished the address by the head of the department. We will now head to a virtual tour of the department. We will also have a brief introduction, like an introductory video of the entire BTech program. Now, Department of Electrical Engineering does host a first-year course, which is compulsory for all the students of all branches. I will briefly introduce that to you, and then you will hear very briefly from UG specialization coordinators, the specializations that will be open to you later in your program. We also have an exciting expert industry talk by Professor Manoj Chaudhary. He's a professor in our department. You'll later also hear from some students and one of our alumnus. Then we will have some brief introduction on co-curricular activities. Please keep your questions coming on Q&A. I'm turning on the Q&A option here. You are welcome to also upvote other people's questions, and we will take them. We'll try to take them either throughout the program, or we'll take them at the end during the general Q&A. At the end of this program, we also look forward to interacting with you on this 3D interactive forum called Frame VR, and I'll share more details about it near the end of the program. So now is the time for virtual tour of the department. Welcome aboard, everyone. We are now on our way to the Department of Electrical Engineering, and we start our journey from the main gate. We can't wait for you to join us here and hope this would familiarize you with our department way before you physically visit here. So this is the main circle. And behind the administrative building, you see the iconic clock tower located with the library building. The EE building is situated at the other end of the campus, and as we walk through, let us make a brief stop at the lecture hall building where most of your classes will be held. Moving further north from the library building, we have reached the lecture hall building, LHB. It's a massive complex with several classrooms meant for different class strengths. On the ground floor is room 110, a huge lecture hall with a capacity of 650. This hall also serves as our auditorium for many of our major institute events. When you join us here in the third trimester, some of your institute-wide courses may be held in this hall. There is another similar lecture hall upstairs, and we'll visit that in a moment. All the classrooms in the lecture hall building are equipped with projectors and green boards. On the ground floor, we have 2 more classrooms designed for large classes of 120 each. These classrooms are equipped, in addition to the projectors, with motion and voice activated camera systems for remote teaching and a smart board. I'm now heading to the second floor. This is another classroom, Lecture Hall 308, where many of your institute-wide common courses would hold their lectures. Let us now head to the Department of EE. We'll keep moving north, and we'll first come across the Computer Science building, the Chemistry and Biology buildings, and the Basic Lab complex that houses the first year basic course labs. We'll return to the Basic Lab building in the next session, where we discuss the first year course on Introduction to Electrical Engineering. And here we are. This is the EE building. We are joined here by Hemant, who is a staff member in the Office of EE. Teaching labs are located on the ground floor of the building. Our first lab today is the Microwave and Communication Lab, where you would conduct experiments on communication engineering and antenna engineering. Adjacent to this lab, you would be doing lab sessions of courses like power electronics, electrical machines, sensors, and IoT. Next to this is the Embedded Systems Lab, where you would have lab sessions of courses like microprocessors, control systems, embedded systems, digital signal processing, and cyber-physical systems. We also have a research lab on microelectronics on the ground floor. Now let us go to the other side of the building. Here's the Smart Grid Lab. The ground floor also has 4 classrooms for smaller classes, electives, and PG courses. The ground floor also has a seminar room where invited lectures, colloquiums, and your BTech project presentations will be held. We are now heading upstairs to the first floor. To the right here, we have faculty offices, PhD seating space, and research labs. This is the Image Processing and Computer Vision Lab. Moving on to the next lab. Across the PhD seating, we have offices of faculty members. Let us go across and check out more labs. We have a few more offices. The microwave and millimeter wave lab. Here we have the wireless communication and navigation lab. And the microgrid and real-time simulation lab. Please check out the other side of the EE building. Here we have more faculty offices. The annexure of the microelectronics lab. All friendly faces. And the electronic circuit simulation and systems lab. Some more seating space for research students. So this was a quick tour of our department. As I now head towards the basic lab complex where we'll discuss the first year course hosted by Electrical Engineering. Thank you all for joining this virtual departmental tour, and we hope to welcome you to the department in person very, very soon. Thank you. So that was a tour of our department. Again, we cannot wait to welcome you here in person. But for now, this is what you'll have to do with. While you all have, those of you who have just joined this program, please follow us on our social media channels. Please visit the website ee.iitj.ac.in to know more about the department and follow all the social media handles present there. We will now have a brief introduction about the BTech EE program, an overview of the entire program. I'm sure many of you may have watched this video already, but this is just for your summary. Yes, Giridhar, we will be trying to call you as soon as possible.
Hello everyone. Congratulations to all the successful candidates of JEE Advanced 2021.
I am Arun Kumar Singh, Head Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Kanpur. The vision of our department is to develop a world-class teaching and research atmosphere by excelling in fundamental knowledge and applications of electrical engineering through curricular and co-curricular activities. The department offers a flexible BTech curriculum that offers numerous opportunities to students to consider a variety of career paths through capability-linked specializations of their choice.
The program provides strong fundamentals in maths and science that form basis of diverse tool set used by electrical engineers to innovate, design, and develop the technology of the future. The engineering design component familiarizes students with real-world engineering challenges and equips them with the essential technical skills and problem solving. Core electrical engineering concepts ranging from circuit analysis and design, computing, control, communication, signal processing, and power engineering provide strong theoretical foundations supplemented with hands-on exposure, lab experiments, and design projects. The curriculum offers various options to students in pursuing exciting capability-linked specializations of their choice. The department specializations are designed to enable students to lead technological innovations addressing the emerging industrial and societal challenges in various domains of electrical engineering. The electrical engineering students can opt for any one of the department specializations in the domains of cyber physical systems, intelligent communication and networking, communication engineering, VLSI systems, visual computing, socio-digital reality, nano and flexible electronics, smart grid, or artificial intelligence of things. These specializations enable graduates to play a vital role in advancement of technologies such as 5G and beyond communications, smart cities, smart healthcare, and Industry 4.0. Another distinct feature of the curriculum is the provision for minors in entrepreneurship, management, or interdisciplinary specializations in smart healthcare, artificial intelligence, or robotics and mobility systems. These minors and interdisciplinary specializations allow students to pursue diverse career paths. Students will also have an opportunity for converting their BTech into a BTech Master's Dual Degree program in the chosen specialization or minor area. The curriculum also offers numerous options that enable students to gain industrial experience through collaborative projects at industry and entrepreneurial experience at Institute's Incubation Center.
Please visit our website and follow us on social media to know more about us. Thank you.
So that was a brief introduction to the BTech Electrical Engineering program. We are noting down the questions that are coming up in Q&A. So we'll not take all of them for now, but just for your basic information, you can take either a minor or a specialization, and these specializations or minors start in your sixth semester, in the sixth semester of your program, right? So we'll take more of your questions as we move ahead. And as you already know by now, there is a course on Introduction to Electrical Engineering, which is common for all students of all branches in your first year. Of course, you'll be taking this course in 2 batches. So some of the students may be taking it right now in this semester, and some of you will be taking it in the next semester. So I'll give you a very brief introduction about that course, and then we will move to program specializations. So this course essentially is an introduction to basics of electrical engineering. So it covers both electronics and electrical engineering and the basics. So you will have network theorems, things which you're already familiar with from your 12th standard and JEE preparation. And you'll also learn about basic electronics and the applications, AC quantities, and some basics of electrical machines. So this is a 4-credit course hosted by Department of Electrical Engineering. You will have 3 lectures and 2 labs, 2 hours of labs essentially. So 3 hours of lecture every week and 2 hours of practicals. So we will be using some simulators for these practicals for now. And I will again, since you are not here in person, let me also share with you the course website. So everything is covered in this website. You'll find resources and the details of laboratories. And just because you haven't yet reached here, I would like to give you a brief tour, a 3D tour of our both of our basic labs, because as I told you, this involves both electronics and electrical. So the lab experiments, if you were here in person, would be conducted in 2 separate labs. I'll share the links in chat separately for you to visit this offline after the program is over. This is the electronics lab. So you can walk inside. If you have VR headset, that will be even great. But even if on a web-based platform, this is perfectly fine. So you will be sitting here in groups of 1 or 2, perhaps. We have equipment set up throughout the lab. Okay, so take your time after the program, whenever you have some time, take a tour and look at the various equipment. So this was electronics lab. Then we also have a energy conversion and systems lab, which is this. This is where all the electrical related experiments are held. So it's the same corridor. And you enter this energy conversion and systems lab and look around. You can walk around, take a take a peek into what equipment we have. Just take a walk through. Okay, I will share this link on chat separately for your reference. So this was a brief overview of our basic course that is hosted by Electrical Engineering called Introduction to Electrical Engineering. We will now, I also have a short video for you on the lab of electrical engineering. So just give me a moment. All right, now we are heading to department specializations. So I would request all the specialization coordinators, sorry, to be prepared. They'll very briefly speak for like just a couple of minutes about the specialization, and then at the end of this particular session, if you have any questions about specializations, we can take them up. So just give me one more moment. All right. So the first department specialization is in communication engineering. And to talk about that, I invite the coordinator, Dr. Shamava Mukherjee.
Hello and good afternoon to all of you, and congratulations for coming to IIT Jodhpur. I hope the next 4 years will be very enjoying for you all. So talking about the specialization which you will be attending after completing your 5th semester. So up to 5th semester, you will actually learn about all the basic courses which are necessary, and after that you can actually choose about some additional credits to earn depending on the whatever specialization choice you can choose, and this is one of them. So our department has up to 8 to 9 specialization. So the first one which I am talking is named communication engineering. So mostly some of the points you can see in the slide. So in this specialization you can learn about microwave engineering, you can learn about wireless communication, you can learn about optical communication, and we do have variety of instruments available. So if you join in this specialization, you will be able to learn to handle those instruments, how to do good quality research, good quality I should say industry ready skill set that you can come up with joining this specialization. But this I think will be much more clear once you reach up to 5th semester. So this is just an overview, and we have many instruments and many softwares related to this particular domain, and we have 6 faculty members currently, and many more are also may join during your total BTech time. So it's a good one of the way path which you can choose. So I'll be looking forward for you all after your 5th semester. If you give your choice, I hope that you will be able to get good learning about this particular domain. So I believe that we can now move to the next one. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is Intelligent Communication and Networking. I invite Dr. Sai Kiran.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Jodhpur. So in the past few years, you may have already heard the terms artificial intelligence, 5G and 6G making the noise, right? So the domain of AI, that is artificial intelligence, importantly deals with the bringing intelligence into any of the application that you would like to use it in. Okay, so now if you see, the domain of AI has penetrated into several applications. So let it be your smartwatches. Earlier they used to be of very navy, which shows only that time, but now they does monitor your vitals as well. Okay, the same way the intelligence is also penetrating into several domains, including vehicular. Okay, and one of such domains is the wireless communications and the technologies. So now in this particular specialization, the intelligent communication and networking, what we'll be learning is how to bring that intelligence into the communication technology development, as well as the internetworking of these heterogeneous communication technologies. Okay, so now the outcomes, or if you undergo this particular specialization, the three prominent outcomes that you can expect are, the first thing is you'll be learning the state-of-the-art machine learning or artificial intelligence techniques, which can be utilized for the communication systems and networking technologies. And second one is that you can design intelligent communication technologies and networking technologies, which will be utilized for the upcoming generations, that is in the 5G or 6G networking scenarios. Okay. And finally, the third one is, in addition to the developing of these technologies, you will also be developing a new frameworks which will help you in analyzing these communication technologies. So those typically include theoretical models development, simulation scenarios, and also the real experimental testbed development. Okay, so these are the three prominent outcomes that you can expect from this particular specialization. And once you are on campus, whenever you need to know more details about this particular specialization, you can always come to my office and we can have a one-on-one discussions whenever required. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is visual computing, and I invite Dr. Rajendra Nagar.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dr. Amit Bharadwaj.
Yeah, on behalf of Dr. Rajendra, I will be talking about this specialization. Yeah, first of all, and we welcome you here, and we are waiting for you to come here in person. Yeah, you know that electrical engineering over a period of, I think once you spend two years, and I think up to 5th semester, you will be studying about signals, okay? And then your task will be that how to process these signals and how to extract those information. Then this computational methodology, that how to process this data, how to process these signals, that will be studied in detail in this specialization. And it has a lot of applications in the areas of healthcare, robotics, autonomous driving, and AR, VR, and automation. And in this specialization, we will provide you the fundamental knowledge of multimodal signal processing, deep learning, computer vision, graphics, and multimodal perception. It means in broader sense, we will provide you to analyze or visualize the data. Okay, and we have wonderful state-of-the-art facilities at IIT Jodhpur, NVIDIA DGX, for example, AI 100, and one of the technology innovation hub that all IITs have got one innovation hub, and our TIH is based on computer vision and AR and VR, and our specialization, this in particular, is aligned towards that. Yeah, that's all about this specialization. And yeah, Dr. Rajlakshmi, next one. Yeah, there is next specialization that our department will be offering. That's socio-digital reality. Okay, and you might be familiar with the rise of these technologies, right? Augmented reality, virtual reality, and all these head-mounted displays. And this one domain, these social networking platforms like Facebook, WhatsApp, all these, we get connected to each other, all these social platforms, right? Now, why this socio-digital reality means now we want to merge our social behavior that we get connected to each other, and then use the technology of AR and VR so that we can get more immersive and realistic experience. Okay, that for example, through WhatsApp and any Google Meet, we can see each other, but immersive experience so that we can touch the feeling of the objects in the environment, we can smell, and we should be able to use all our five senses in a virtual environment. That's the whole goal of this specialization, and we will be teaching you all these fundamentals related to this specialization. And we have state-of-the-art facilities for this specialization, and we have very high-end haptic devices, and even as I mentioned for the previous specialization, that computational power we have NVIDIA DGX, and our TIS Technology Innovation Hub is also related to this activity. Yeah, that's all from this specialization. If you have any doubt, any concern, please talk to me or Dr. Rajendra. We will be happy to help you. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Next up is AIoT. Dr. Sakshi Dhanikar is the coordinator. On her behalf today, Dr. Arpit Agrawal will be speaking to you.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I hope I am audible. So I welcome you all to the Department of Electrical Engineering. Hearty congratulations to all of you being selected here. I'll talk briefly about the specialization of artificial intelligence of things. So as you know, it's an era of AI and it's an era of IoT, and we combine both IoT and AI in this specialization. So in this specialization, we offer you some fundamentals of IoT coupled with the fundamentals of artificial intelligence. So here we till second semester or till second year or fifth semester, you will learn courses of communication, you will learn courses about circuits, you will learn the basics of electronics. All these will be combined together in this specialization. So IoT and AI will combine all of your knowledge about circuits and communication and systems. So for this, we have dedicated IoT lab, and we also run a MTech in IoT. So that's how we have a dedicated IoT lab where we have different interesting projects on IoT going on. And you will also have hands-on experience with interfacing circuits and communication technologies. And you'll also get chance to do some real life IoT based projects. So this is about AIoT specialization. And if you want, obviously, if you want any more insights into this specialization, you can anytime contact me or Dr. Sakshi or any other faculty members associated with this specialization. Thank you.
Thank you, Arpit. Next up is nanoelectronics and flexible electronics. I invite Dr. Harshit Agrawal.
Thank you, Dr. Rajlakshmi. And I welcome all the students who have joined Department of Electrical Engineering. Congratulations for making a great choice. You are at the right place. I will be talking about nano and flexible electronics. So students, you so far have heard about a lot of interesting stuff, machine learning, 5G, and artificial intelligence. This particular specialization is all about going into the basics. So if you wonder what makes these technologies work, at the heart, you will find there are integrated circuits. And in this nano and flexible electronics, you learn about semiconductor devices, how circuits are being made, how devices are fabricated, how you can characterize them, how you can improve them. So not only you work on state of the technologies, you will also be learning about the emerging technologies that may drive the futures 10 years down the line. So I congratulate you once again and welcome you to join Nano and Flexible Electronics specialization. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is VLSI Systems. I invite Dr. Jay Narayan Tripathi.
Hello. Yeah. So again, congratulations to all of you. And the specialization on VLSI systems is about very large scale integration. So as you might have heard this term already. So when we say very large scale integration, that means within a small area, a lot of transistors are being fabricated together. So why we need that? So you see, like in this particularly this age of digital electronics, digital era, we have many devices, like all the handheld devices like cell phones or even laptops or other electronic devices which are being used in IoT applications and artificial intelligence applications. They are becoming more and more advanced, right, in terms of functionality. So when we have higher and higher functionality, then we need more computation, right? For that, we need more number of transistors than required earlier in the earlier generations. Let's say in the processor of your laptop, you see these processors are being more advanced, right? So more number of transistors in the very small area. So this is called very large scale integration. So in this specialization, we learn the basics of VLSI, and we'll learn how to design circuits or systems. And here in IIT Jodhpur, we have industry standard tools, design tools, which are used in industry. We already have here, so you can get an exposure to the real designs. Also, we have these technology files, which are basically used in the industry for designing the real circuits. And we also have some faculty members who are having industry experience in VLSI industry. So if you are interested working in this area or to know more about this area, then you are more than welcome to contact any of us. Or if you, you can write to any of us or even the head. So thank you and congratulations again for joining IIT Jodhpur.
Thank you. Next up is Smart Grid. I invite Dr. Ravi Yadav.
So thank you, Dr. Rajlakshmi. So I welcome all of you to the Department of Electrical Engineering, IIT Jodhpur. Smart Grid, if I start from the absolute basics, so any computational advances, any intelligent electronic circuit manufacturing, everything needs a healthy power system, a power grid. Now, what is a power grid for the students who are new? So power grid is a system that delivers power to your home, to an industry, to a manufacturing unit. So health of a power grid becomes absolutely necessary. It becomes a platform for any technological advancement in the future. So smart grid as a whole has number of different areas of research. It has power system, power electronics, integration of renewable sources, development of renewable sources itself, and control. From the department point of view, we have 6 professors who are working in different areas. And if you have any doubt regarding smart grid, you can always reach out to us. And I welcome you all to the department, and I hope that some of you might be interested in working in power system, which is the absolute basic of electrical engineering. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is cyber physical systems.
Thank you, Rajlakshmi. So, friends, if you see this term, maybe you are observing this term first time. Some of you have known this term, the cyber physical system. And so let us first try to understand what cyber physical system means. We can consider one example. Let us consider nowadays you often listen the self-driving car, and you are also familiar with the existing car. So what will be the key difference in the self-driving car and the existing car? So definitely the first point is in self-driving car, there will not be any driver, right? So that means the car itself will sense the environment. Fine. So there will be some subsystems or components which will help the car to sense the environment, and the car will take the decision accordingly and it will move, right? Now, how can we achieve that? So definitely there will be some decision-making unit, and that decision-making unit is taking decisions automatically. So while we are talking about decision-making units in the self-driving car, then we can also think that will be nothing but some piece of codes, right, or piece of instruction. So that piece of instruction or set of codes will take the decisions that how to drive the car, right? So it's kind of a integration, right? Integration between hardware and software. In the self-driving car, if you think that there will be a very tight interconnections between hardware and software, and that helps that how to move the car, right? And and these properties basically ensure that it makes the difference from the existing car, that the feedback which is coming from the, once the car senses the environment, there must be some feedback, and as well as since the car is automatically running, then you have to ensure the safety and security. So these two properties makes these type of systems very distinct. So there must be some feedback, and as well as the security and safety is necessary for these kind of systems. You have heard about the term IoT just few minutes ago. Often we think that cyber physical systems and the Internet of Things kind of a similar kind of systems, but the key distinct difference is in cyber physical systems, the feedback is mandatory, and the safety requirements, the security requirement is mandatory. So these key properties actually helps us to distinguish these type of systems, and based on the key properties, we try to design the course, the specialization courses. So one is the introduction to cyber physical systems, where you will try to understand that the basics or key properties of the cyber physical systems, then security of cyber physical systems, and as I have mentioned, that instructions or how to operate the car, that means the control strategy that we will learn from advanced control system classes, and as well as there will be some connectivities of communications. So, and there will be one class on data communications. So these 4 courses will help you to understand broadly these type of systems. If you have any queries related with these type of specialization, you can ask us, and you can drop email, or you can directly contact with us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is engineering innovation. So this essentially provides you an opportunity to translate your research in collaboration with industry. That means in your 6th semester, you will be welcome to work on any product design at any industry or any R&D organization, if you're not taking any of the other specializations. If anybody would like to add anything to what we have discussed, you're welcome to. All right, so these were all our department specializations. Of course, there's a lot of time left for you. You have to take this decision only in the 6th semester, right? So take your time, enjoy all the subjects, explore all the areas that you find exciting. And again, I cannot insist enough, do visit the website of the department so that you have a complete picture of all our lab facilities and the equipment and various faculty members present. All right, so with that, we move ahead, and we now have an expert industry talk by Professor Manoj Chaudhary. He's a professor in our department. Let me briefly introduce Professor Chaudhary. And if you have any questions again about specializations and industry expectations, please feel free to ask them again in the Q&A at the end of the session, and we'll take them up. So Professor Chaudhary is currently working as a professor in the Department of Electrical Engineering at IIT Jodhpur. He received his PhD from IIT Kanpur in Communication Systems. Prior to joining IIT Jodhpur in October 2021, he was a senior director and head of systems LSI R&D semiconductor chip business at Samsung Semiconductor India R&D Center, Bangalore. Very well recognized both internationally and nationally, Professor Chaudhary is credited with building a strong research team for wireless standards and intellectual property mission at Samsung way back in 2002, thereby setting foundations for its success as a top technology MNC in the country. He is known as a pioneer of wireless standards activities in India and has led standard bodies at worldwide level and has been a co-author of 6 IEEE ECMA standards. He has won many awards such as University Gold Medal, Young Achiever Award, Patent of the Year Award, to name a few. Professor Chaudhary is a senior member of the IEEE and is also a distinguished lecturer at IEEE Communication Society. He's actively involved in industry-academia relations through formal joint project collaborations, setup, and industry and academic institutes, having set up more than 10 formal projects with different institutes, innovation awards, and academic curriculum review committee member for premier institutes. His area of work and interests include communication systems, wireless, 6G, 5G, modem, wireless LAN, ultra-wideband, and networks, telecom regulation, system on chip, embedded systems and software, image sensors and signal processing, Internet of Things and smart homes, cybersecurity, medical technologies, AI, ML, and computer vision. He's passionate about skill development and addressing societal problems through technological interventions. Thank you so much, Professor Chaudhary, for speaking to our new students today. They'll greatly benefit from hearing from you. Thank you, and over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Rajlakshmi, and thanks to all my colleagues who have talked to you so far. They already presented a very good overview about what all we are doing here. I had a chance to talk to you on 1st of December through a panel discussion briefly, and today in the next 15 minutes, I will like to talk about slightly more about my industry experience, but rather than it will focus more on what any electrical engineer can do and many aspects of electrical engineering that you may find more interesting as you go further in your career. So to start with, I'll try to present a few slides that I have prepared, and let's see if I can. I hope you are able to see my slide.
Yes, Professor Chaudhary.
Okay, sure. So, I have only 3 slides, but I would like to talk more about my experiences and what any electrical engineer can do. Firstly, I welcome all the incoming students to the Department of Electrical Engineering at IIT Jodhpur, and I assure you that you are the right place. This is a very vibrant community. 32 faculty members are very knowledgeable here in IIT Jodhpur. They not only know, but have done wonderful technological development work. And I'm pretty sure once you are here in the campus, you will learn a lot, collaborate, and in this IITJ innovation ecosystem, together we can create wonderful things. Just very briefly on my background. Again, here the goal is not to highlight what I did, but I want to briefly present to you about what any electrical engineer can do based on his or her area of work. So here, though I worked in the industry for more than 2 decades, the main point is that I worked in companies which are both computer-centric. For example, the first company after my PhD I joined was Novell. If you remember, long before Novell, NetWare was one of the most popular operating systems, and you might also read a lot in the computer systems and so on. It is a pure software company. So though my PhD was in communication systems, I got my first job to work in a computer company. Thereon, I worked in Samsung for a long period of time, which is primarily an electronics company, works a lot on the mobile software and IT side. And last 5 years, I led the semiconductor R&D team here in India. Texas Instruments is the company that invented IC. It is a semiconductor and electronics company, very old. and very well recognized the world over. Through working in industry, I had a lot of opportunity to do new research, which resulted into 30 plus granted patents. And again, I will move in the next slide to talk about what all one can do, or what could I do with my kind of background in electrical engineering. To start with firstly, when I was doing my PhD at IIT Kanpur, I was involved in ERNet, that is Education and Research Network, as a network engineer. Therefore, some of my earlier learnings were more in communication system and then into computer networks, trying to physically set the ERNet at the IIT Kanpur node and move forward from there. So first job in industry I had Novell. I worked in the network security area, and more particularly related to distributed denial of service attacks against the TCP protocol. Remember, I did not have my PhD in network area. It was more on the communication system and physical layer coding theory. The point I'm trying to highlight here is we might learn a lot of things in a program or a curriculum. However, the job that we do may not exactly be the same as we have studied, and therefore there is a constant need to learn every day on the job and try to apply the fundamental knowledge that one has gained in the academics and try to move on. In Texas Instruments, I had an opportunity, that is the time of 2005-2006, when GSM GPRS Edge was in the dominant position, and the biggest players in the mobile market, if you can recall, were Nokia and Motorola. TI had approximately 85% market share for all the chips that went in semiconductor chips that went into Nokia and Motorola. And I led the mobile handset modern protocol software, starting physical layer, protocol stack, all the access stratum and above layers, and so on. At Samsung, through many experiences, I had an opportunity to set up their research lab in India called Samsung Advanced Institute of Technology. And many broad areas, including communications, of course, I was more conversant with, but new projects we set up were related to reconfigurable processors, effective computing, connected healthcare, and battery modeling. In Samsung, I also had a chance to work on research to market from 5G starting in 2014, when 5G was still a new world. We created many prototypes, demoed into International Telecommunication Union, Mobile World Congress, and eventually created first 5G chipset S5100 that is shown in the middle chip in the bottom of this page. I also, in my last role in the last 5 years, I had an opportunity to lead Samsung's business unit in semiconductor R&D, which was both in software and hardware for 5G modem, for wireless LAN, for entire SoC development, CMOS image sensor, though I did not have a specific experience in image processing per se, but these are the kind of opportunities and learnings that one gets over if you have a fundamental knowledge in the areas. And this was for the mobile domain, for automotive, the cars and variables and so on. I come to the most important slide next, but before that, just want to highlight one thing. These days, as you know, cameras are very, very important for a smartphone. It is very common these days to see around 3 to 4 cameras in the rear and 2 cameras in the front. World's first 108 megapixel image sensor was developed in my team. That is called HMX, that is shown in the right hand side. This is the last slide, but the most important slide that I wanted to talk to you maybe for 10 minutes, because I personally think it is very important to share what I learned and my thoughts. First and very important point that I want to bring to your attention is we are living in an interdependent world. That means no one is self-sufficient to do anything on their own. If I take the technology world, and it is a very common knowledge, no company, even world's top companies, are self-sufficient in every manner. For example, if Apple is making brilliant phones or iPads or so on, for their displays, they rely on Samsung or LG. For their processors, earlier they relied on Intel. For their modem, of course, they are making their own processor. The 5G modem, they bought from Intel, the complete business. If you look at the memory side, the companies that are predominant are Samsung, Micron, for example, or Toshiba and so on. Therefore, there is no company that is self-sufficient in its own. Similarly, when Samsung is making the flagship phones and selling in the world, they use Samsung's own Exynos processor or they use Qualcomm Snapdragon processor. The point I'm trying to highlight is we are in an interdependent world. Though you might have had a choice of many disciplines, whether computer science, electrical engineering, mechanical engineering, bio, chemical, civil, and whatnot, I want to re-emphasize that each discipline is extremely important. Today, interdisciplinary approach is not a choice anymore, it is the need of the hour. For example, you take any product or domain. These days, you might have noticed, I know one of our colleagues talked about cyber physical systems and IoT. Every world has become smart. Phone is smart. These days, we talk about smartphone, healthcare, smart health, watch, smart TV. Everywhere we have added the word smart. If you know what has made it smart, you know it is basically learning from what exists and trying to make good inference from the information that is available. We can call it Internet of Things, we can call it artificial intelligence, many things, but it is basically making use of the information that is around you and trying to make a logical sense out of that. So merely if you take an example of a smartphone, coming to the point, what is a smartphone? If you look at the journey of a smartphone in the last decade or so, today's smartphone might have, as I was mentioning, 2.8 gigahertz kind of a CPU, even higher, might have 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU, even higher, might have 16 GB RAM and so on, which were 3 or 4 or 5 years before top specs of any laptop or a computer that you were buying. Therefore, computer have become more mobile, mobile have become more computer-like. The world is becoming more and more blurry. Such a latest smartphone, is it the electrical engineers who have created? Is it only computer science? I want to reassert that any great product today is a superior hardware enabled by a great software. That means there is a place for each of the discipline. The main components, if you want to buy a smartphone or if you want to look at smartphone, include display. That includes a lot of work from chemical engineering, material science, and so on. Memory, again, more of a material as well as the electronic system on chip, electrical, and if you go to the manufacturing, it is more of a chemical process, including chemical processes, new materials that we are trying to do beyond silicon and so on. Modem, 3G, 4G, 5G, 6G, wireless LAN, this pure communication background, camera, image sensors, not only requires a lot of image processing, low light photography, and many of the aspects that these days you have, whether you call bokeh effect or lighting effects and many effects that you can do in your smartphones. It's the whole new world that you have, includes optics and so on. Sensors, multitude of sensors. Preventive or assistance related aspects. Antennas which are hidden, but a lot of electromagnetic properties being used to develop the many antennas that go into the today's smartphone. Each smartphone these days have one single battery, but all these other elements like display, memory, or SoC or cameras, they consume power. Therefore, there is a bigger goal to have power management ICs designed which rely a lot on analog circuits, for example. Many of the SoCs may include digital design, but power management ICs are much more focused on analog, and so is the camera image sensors ICs. Battery is a great example of electrochemical processes, so it requires both the material knowledge, the chemical knowledge, as well as the many of the battery management actually is dependent on many algorithms in the IT space. Each of these smartphones these days offer virtual assistants and many of the on-device artificial intelligence capabilities, and which is a broader intersection between what was talked as artificial intelligence, IoT, CPS, and so on. Therefore, the point that I am trying to mention in an interdependent world is, irrespective of the discipline that you have chosen, there is a tremendous opportunity in that discipline. And mark my words, this is a starting point. You are at a starting point of a journey which is marathon. You have around 40-50 years of a career ahead of you. And in future, whatever is the starting point, you will get an opportunity to learn many, many new domains which are interrelated to each other, and therefore you will build new technologies and products that will serve billions of humanity on this planet. Second point that I want to mention is what after the BTech. You may choose, you might have multitude of options working in government sector or many, many industries. Industry here, I do not mean only private sector or multinationals, even the government sector or any sector. Wherever you want to go, what does the industry need? The industry needs skills besides knowledge. Knowing is great, doing is important. Doing is essential. Therefore, industry needs people, firstly, who are individually brilliant. Each one of you have proven through your meticulous preparation and going through tough competitive exams like JEE that you are brilliant individually. Continuing to learn on the many, many courses and programs that we have devised here in the IITJ, you will learn a lot of fundamental knowledge. Industry needs brilliant people, but more importantly, industry needs people who are exceptional in teamwork. As I highlighted earlier, no one person or no one discipline can do everything in the world. Therefore, teamwork is most essential in today's world. Everywhere you will hear the word collaboration. How well one works together as a part of the team will determine how far we succeed, where we go. Therefore, this is a very, very important skill that I want to highlight. Irrespective of however much one knows, one has to work in a team to produce great results. And I really want to emphasize this on your first day before you're joining, that through your journey, all along your life, I am sure you will remember and will do. Irrespective of wherever you look at, whichever great startups in the world or India you look at, people started as a team. There was no one person who did it all alone by himself. Industry needs thinkers and doers. People who can think and visualize things, but also people who can implement and do. That is a very, very important skill. As you learn a lot of fundamental things, my request and humble request to you is also to learn to do many prototypes, try to learn in the lab, do experiential learnings, many facilities that we have available in IIT Jodhpur, and I'm sure you will do that. Be inquisitive, spot problems along with possible solution approaches. One thing I can tell with 100% conviction through my experience of working with thousands of youngsters in my career, I can tell and very openly that most innovative ideas often come from the young people because they have not learned so far to discard many solution possibilities that with experience, somewhere we tend to think that, okay, maybe this is not the way things are going to work. We discard many solution approaches with age because we have seen a particular way of doing things and we only want to rely on that. You are young. I want you to be very inquisitive and consider all possible solution approaches. Develop entrepreneurial mindset and innovation at a younger age. I already talked. The last point before I conclude for today is electrical engineering is a very vast discipline. I already talked many facets of it, even for a simple device like a mobile phone. Please strengthen your fundamental knowledge working through the coursework. Look at ways to apply knowledge. Be knowledge creator, disseminator, and use of knowledge, and utilize IITJ ecosystem that thrives on innovation, that encourages a startup culture, that encourages you to work with your peers, that encourages you to work with faculty members. I once again welcome you to the Department of Electrical Engineering and IIT Jodhpur, and I'm sure together we will create a wonderful world. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Chaudhary. Students, if you have any questions, please, you can unmute yourself and ask it right away. Any questions from the students? Okay, we have one question in the Q&A section. Before I take that, there's one more question that was earlier there. Professor Chaudhary, I'll post that to you. So Mridul asks, out of the 9 sub-branches in the E department, the specializations that we offer, which one would be the most demanding after 4 years, for which they can do specialization and get a higher package or become more demanding for more companies?
So I believe, Dr. Rajlakshmi and all my dear students, I believe I answered your question that each of the discipline is important. Package, if you are merely looking at salary, it is just a number. I would really like you to look at a package in the manner that you can leave a legacy, you can create technology products that can impact human lives. I personally would like you to consider that rather than only a number which can change every year.
All right, thank you. I hope Mridul and the 11 students who upvoted that question that answers your concern. There are more questions like things we have already covered. Specialization or minor can be done only in one of the domains. You cannot do both specialization and minor, or you cannot do a specialization in multiple domains. You can choose any one. Don't worry, there is a lot of time left. This has to be decided only in the 6th semester. Enjoy your time here meanwhile and explore all these other areas. Rachit has asked, does industrial internship occurs for electrical students? Yes, of course, it does. If yes, how does it take place? So Professor Chaudhary, would you like to take that?
Yeah, so one thing I can to start with, despite my gray hair, I am only 7 weeks older than you, many of you, most of you in IIT Jodhpur. I just joined. So I do not know the exact system of industry internship here, but I can tell that industries welcome interns coming from all the top institutes and IITs, particularly after their 6th semester. And while at internship, we look people who have, in the internship resumes or interviews, we do not rely only on CGPA or CPI. We look at people who have gone out of the way and have demonstrated that they are inquisitive, they are problem solvers, and they want to work on. Ultimately, any internship offer that industry gives, basically industry is looking at potential future employees, and therefore one has to prepare themselves before even starting internship.
All right. And one more question. So just to give you all a brief idea of how, what all opportunities you may have here at IIT Jodhpur. So to start with, in first and second and third year, you can enroll for design credits, right? That's the first kind of project that you will be doing. And that also can be done with an industry. As in, you can always approach during your summer or throughout the semester, there are some provisions. You can get industry internship or do a small design project with any industry partner. Later on, during summers, you can also apply for other internships. There are some programs that are run by the CDC of the institute where, you know, some agencies will come particularly to take students for internships. There are a lot of students who have got pre-placement offers in that sense. And lastly, the specialization called engineering innovation, which is in the 6th semester, which is one of the specialized, you can call it the 10th specialization, that allows you again to work with any industry or any R&D organization and work on any product design. So I hope it sort of answers most of your questions. So Kushal is asking, sir, how was your experience working in Samsung?
It was a wonderful experience. I worked with many different cultures and I could work in many different products. I could see that the kind of products we are developing, what kind of rigor is required in order for it to be commercial ready, because ultimately any phone that we launch goes into the hands of the customers. So we have to make the product thoroughly with a quality that is required to be the world leading product. So I had a lot of insights. I had opportunity to work with a lot of youngsters and in many different areas. So overall, I feel enriched that I worked in such top companies.
There's one more question: in which specialization is quantum computing covered? So any of our faculty members can actually get back to us on this question.
Yeah. So there is an interdisciplinary specialization on quantum information and computing, which is to be launched by our IDRP on quantum information. So this would be one of the interdisciplinary specialization, which would be available to all branches, including electrical engineering for BTech students.
There was one more question on how to best utilize labs. So my answer to that is by being in the labs. Therefore, to put humor aside, is to talk to the faculty members, work on small projects with the faculty members, and then physically be in the labs to best utilize the labs. Our facilities are open almost round the clock, and I want our people to utilize the facilities here.
Thank you. There are other questions about PSUs and PPOs. I don't have this information right now at hand, Ashish, but we will get back to you with this information soon. Yash is asking, can an electrical engineer be a software engineer?
Yes, of course. Of course, because these days software is like mathematics. This is a fundamental thing. One need to learn programming. There are too many software that goes into any of the embedded systems. The software type may be different. It may not be application software that one may work if one is working with Amazon, but in many companies, big companies like Qualcomm or Texas Instruments or even Samsung, I'm even talking of semiconductor companies. You can also talk of the power systems, for example. These days, there is a bigger concept of energy internet, the way the telecom internet works, on how the smart grid works, so on. There is a lot of software that one can do. So as I mentioned, these days, maths, software, programming, these are considered to be the essential components. They are the essential skills that are needed to do anything else in future.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Chaudhary. There are more questions which we'll take during the general Q&A session. But thank you so much for speaking to the students. And to all the students, we all are going to be here always. So even if you have more questions as the time goes on, please feel free to write to us, to Professor Chaudhary, because he has this wide industry experience. He has been recruiting engineers for so long. And we hope we'll be able to answer almost all of your questions. So thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Chaudhary. So we move on. We'll take all your questions. We move on to the next session. And as you all have already gone through this challenging phase of studying at home, studying online, the challenges of online learning, not knowing each other, not getting to know the seniors that well, not getting to interact with the faculty members and the department that well, you may have some fears or maybe some apprehensions. We will, to help you with that, we have a Student Connect small session today where we will have 3 of our students talk to you. One is an alumnus. We have with us Sumant, who was the gold medalist, who won Chairman Board of Governors gold medal for B16. Sumant graduated last year. He's now a design engineer at Hyderabad. We also have current students Rajat Bharadwaj and Khushbu Singh, who will be talking to you about their experience, what has been their learning, and I hope they will be able to quench some of your concerns. And the alumni and seniors are always going to be available in addition to faculty members to help you in any way, to guide you in any way. So with that, I'll invite Sumant Umesh to briefly speak for a couple of minutes and share his experience. He's graduated now, about his experience here at IIT Jodhpur. Sumant.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, Sumant. Please go ahead.
Yeah, hello. My name is Sumant. I graduated last year from electrical engineering. I did my specialization in VLSI systems. At that time, it was like newly introduced for us. And right now, I'm working as a design engineer at NVIDIA. I mainly deal with the design of front-end chips for the graphic cards. And like my experience with electrical engineering was very good, but I would like some of the points, perhaps like internships or something. I just wanted to add a few things. Like one of those would be that just don't go with only the courses, like try some other projects possibly on your own. It need not be something very big as such. Like you can get a lot of ideas from online, and I guess one of the better websites for that is opencourse.com, if anybody has heard of it. Like this particular field that I work in, I did not know about it when I came to college. I had very little idea about it, and I did not even know that I wanted to go into this. My main interest at that time was in, I guess, computer programming. And somewhere near the second year, I did a complete U-turn and went into the hardware part, in which I currently work. So something like doing your own projects or taking part in some competitions. Like there are national level competitions that are conducted every year, and by taking part in that, you'll probably get an understanding of how people in other colleges and other places in India, how they are exposed to the same subjects that you are, and how their interests and how their experience differs from you. And one more thing is try to get as many internships as possible. Like I know that probably it would be only possible in the summers, but some industry internships might be a bit difficult because they would be offering, or they would prefer people who have completed their third year usually to come to the internships. In that case, there is a possibility that you can attend any academic internship, and academic internships are usually hosted by other universities like other IITs, and even IIT Jodhpur itself has one. So don't miss out on any of those. Try all of these along with your courses so that you find something that is probably like you find it very interesting and you decide to continue with it, because like your interest can change at any time, and this is probably the better time to kind of explore and find what is good for you.
Thank you, Sumant. I now invite Rajat Bharadwaj. He's the class representative from B18.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for having me here. Hi, everyone. My name is Rajat Bharadwaj. I am a final year student from electrical branch, and I am currently also holding the POR of Vice President, Board of Career Development. And so, first of all, I would like to congratulate all you guys for making this far. And I assure you, the hard work that you guys would have put in to come into this IIT will be really worth this place. So basically, जब मैंने electrical join की थी, the first fear of mine was that during my JEE times, our faculty used to tell कि semiconductor generally advanced में नहीं आता है, तो इसे आप खुद पढ़ लेना. So I really had this lack of confidence and fear when I joined electrical branch. And during my first semester, we were taught the same topic, but it was taught in great depth and with great practical applications too. So whatever assumptions I had that branch would be really tough for me or anything like that, and you also might be having that, those changed really quickly. So I would say you will fall in love with this branch, not just because it's interesting and has practical applications, but also the way it is being taught. And I also encourage you people to be as frank as you can to your faculties and ask them whatever interests you, because trust me, this is the beauty of this IIT culture, that you are encouraged to explore things that suits you the best, whether it be machine learning, whether it be VLSI or anything. And as a tip from a final year student, I would say if you maintain good class notes and follow the tutorials side by side, you can easily understand all the electrical concepts that are being taught, and also score decent marks too. So yeah, and I assure these 4 years of your life will be very much life-changing for you, and you will find yourself in a better version of yourself. So thank you all, and wish you all the best.
Thank you so much, Rajat. I'll now invite Khushbu Singh. She's a representative of EE Society. Khushbu.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Khushbu Singh, a pre-final year student pursuing BTech in electrical engineering, and also the departmental representative of the electrical department. It's my pleasure being a student in electrical department of IIT Jodhpur. And studying for more than 2 years in IIT Jodhpur has given me an insight into how our department functions. I'm proud to say that our department not only focuses on the academic front, but also on the overall development of the students, so as to prepare them from the practical challenges that they encountered in the future. The program I enrolled mainly focuses on connecting academics and industrial requirements, and you will find all the courses very interesting. It's offer global standard courses that can be in a class with other high-rated universities. Students can explore their interest and shape their academic curriculum relevant to their interest. Also, students have the option of pursuing capability linked specializations of their choice to lead technological innovations that can the departmental the students can pursue capability linked specialization of their choice through the curriculum, and like their departmental specialization, and the departmental specialization are intended to prepare students to lead technological innovation that addresses emerging industrial and societal challenges in a variety of electrical engineering domains. And the different departmental specialization already explained earlier by our professors. The department offers various resources and facility which enhance student abilities and help in their overall development. So you just have to take an initiative in order to avail these facilities and move forward academically. You can take projects under the professors, and if you find it interesting, you can continue. Later this it turns something into research. You can also write papers by discussing with the professors, which may be published. And you can take different design credit projects, which is also part of our regularly semesters. We can which is come from your second year onwards. So you can take different design kit projects according to your interest, like in which part you have interest and which part you have interest. And also you have other options like minors and specialization. Basically these are in your sixth semester, from the fifth semesters and sixth semesters. And also the courses are very pretty and very founding it interesting. And as told by Rajat, मुझे भी fear था पहले कि how I can manage and how can I can manage in my first year, how to do it. But according to TimeLink, it can sorted very well. And if you guys face any problems in starting and having any small doubts regarding anything, you can contact me anytime. So this is all from my side, and it was nice sharing my thoughts with all you, and hope you all have a nice journey ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Khushbu. And thank you again, Sumant, Rajat, and Khushbu for sharing your thoughts. Students, your seniors and your alumni are always going to welcome your questions and try to help you in every way possible, in addition to the faculty members, of course. We now move on to the last two minor sessions of this program today about co-curricular activities in the department. So we've talked about core curriculum till now, right? The program, the specializations, the courses. And we also have two co-curricular activities in the department. One is the IEEE student branch, which is sort of centered in the department, but has different student chapters covering various other departments as well. And then is the EE Society, the departmental society, which Khushbu was representing. So to start with, I'll first invite Dr. Manish Narvaria. He's the coordinator of EE Society, to speak briefly about EE Society so that you can get to know what it is. Manish.
So good afternoon, everyone. And let me also join my colleagues in welcoming you to Department of Electrical Engineering at IIT Jodhpur. So I'll just briefly, tell you about this EE Society. So let me just share a small presentation with you, just a couple of slides. Right, I hope the screen is visible. So we have this departmental society, and there are a few faculty members who are part of it. So those names are written here. I am currently the coordinator, and you just now heard Khushbu. So she is the secretary of this departmental society. Right, so that was just a composition of the society, but I think the more pertinent question would be, what is this society for, right? Or what is it that you would gain from that? So if in a line I had to tell you what this society would be for, then it would be this. So it would be to take care of some of the extracurricular activities that you might to pursue, but then it would be with your career goals in mind. So it's not exactly all the fun games, I mean, but then you can have that also. But essentially, it would be with your career goals in mind. what is it that you want to go forward, because you are enrolling for a BTech degree, which is a professional degree, right? So at the end of the day, you would want to have a career choice, or you might have a career goal in mind. So how to sort of fine tune some of these skills that you have, that is what this society would be looking for, right? Yeah, so all these things, internship, eventually your industry placements, you might want to go for higher studies, you might want to start your own firm or whatever, right? So all these things, they require obviously core knowledge that you will be getting here, but then apart from that, what other skills do you really need, right? So for examples, you need soft skills, maybe how to convey a complex idea to somebody, right? So you will be studying a lot of courses, you will be studying a lot of interesting aspects of electrical engineering, but then eventually at the end of the day, you will have to explain that to somebody, right? Maybe somebody is interviewing you, maybe to some other colleague of yours, right? How do you really convey those complex ideas to the person? So that would require a level of communication skills, you can call that soft skills, and so on. And how do you really fine tune that, right? See, we will have to do something about those also. So the EE Society would like to conduct some sort of workshop on improving those skills for all these students, right? So that's where this EE Society is coming from. Yeah, other things like programming contests, technical challenges. Again, these are all related to your academics, but then there will be a bit more fun in this, and you will probably enhance some of your skills that would eventually help you in your career goals. Some other things could also be taken part of this. For example, there we could organize a programming course. Let's say students are facing difficulties, we could have some sort of programming course or some other sort of course which is very specific to EE students. So the main point about EE Society is that this will be catering to needs of all of you, and it would of course all be student driven. So that's what this society is for. Yeah, so that's what I was coming to. So yes, definitely it's meant for you. You can also be formally part of this. So I've already told you the composition. We have a secretary. We also have some executive members and so on. So you can be formally part of it, but otherwise also the society would be student driven and student centric. So what activities we should be doing, that would be driven by students rather than we telling you what needs to be done, right? So that's how this society would actually function. So it will be a platform for you to explore these things which are very, very important eventually to achieve your career goals. And yeah, just a minor point, this society it is part of this larger academic and co-curricular activity council, and we have this board of departmental societies, and we are actually part of that, right? So we have this formal student body, and this society is also a part of that. So that would be end of it. So if you have any questions or comments, you can post that. So that will be all from my side. Thank you and best of luck.
Thank you, Manish. There's one question, how can EE students learn programming? So all students have a first year compulsory course on programming. All right, so if you are not enrolled this semester, you'll be enrolled in it in the next semester. You have a compulsory programming course. To be a part of EE Society, just drop a mail to Dr. Manish Narvaria with a copy to EE_society. All right. Thank you. Thank you, Manish. I'll now invite Dr. Shomava Mukherjee. He's the branch counselor of IEEE student branch of IIT.
Hello, and once again, good afternoon. So let me share the one small slide. I'll just use the single slide. So again, I'm welcoming you on behalf of the IEEE student branch chapter. So IEEE is majorly in the electrical engineering domain. This is one of the largest society which is known for their platform, where all the professionals, academicians, student, researcher, everyone can come to a single platform and interact, and then they can get advantage from that. For example, the students can get to know about different professors and they can approach them, which is usually not possible. This is a platform where they can do so. So how it can be done? So there are multiple ways in the IEEE how you can do it, and you can actually explore this IEEE website where all these possibilities are there. One of these are the organizing seminars, organizing conferences. Of course, you don't need to organize conference. You can just attend the conference, and in that, typically conferences, of course, these terms are new to you. Seminars probably you are known, but not all others. Like workshop and conferences are not known. So if you become an IEEE member, you will get discount to this conference at attending to that conference, and if you will also get to learn about all these email notification will come to you separately. In addition, IEEE has multiple various platforms like IEEE Collaborative, where all over the world, whoever is attending, whoever is part of this IEEE society, they are collaborating with each other. So you get to know all those people. So it's a very large and worldwide platform. So we have from 2018 onwards, we have opened this student branch chapter, and currently there are multiple subsection, you can say, means that there are focused affinity group and focused chapters under this IEEE student branch. For example, there is Women in Engineering WIE platform. There is IEEE Nano Technology platform recently opened. For almost 2 years, IEEE Antenna and Propagation Society is there, and very recently IEEE Sensors Council also has opened. And as far as my knowledge, most probably we are also opening IEEE this Electron Device Society. So all these societies will be only governed by the students. So definitely we want all the undergraduate students to, we always encourage them to join here and enlarge these possibilities. And so we will be typically having activities all over the year, including seminars from different domain, maybe industry, maybe academia. And so even just yesterday or day before yesterday, actually, the IEEE Nanotechnology Society organized an invited talk by Professor Jagadish from Australia. So of course, this year it was a challenge because everything we are doing on online mode. So interaction part, which is the major bottom line of the IEEE platform, that is definitely not happening the way we want it. But that should not make us stop doing all these things, because ultimately, even if you are interacting in an online mode like we are doing right now, there are at least something you are gaining. So we should not stop. So that's why we will continue this, and I invite you all to be part of it. So you can see some of the points which are written here. But once we join, we can discuss more of these advantages which you can explore here. So I'll just suggest you that go to the IEEE.org. Okay, in the website you will find all this information which I am talking about, and then you can decide what to do. And you are always welcome to join any of these student branch chapters, and you can be part of these activities as well. So thank you all.
Thank you, Shamabha. So we have moved on to the general Q&A session now, and I'm sorry I forgot one question earlier. Professor Chaudhary, if you are here, Hardik has asked how to develop knowledge utilization capability in a particular branch, and it's supported by 8 other students.
Yeah, so you learn by doing. That means during your coursework, there may be opportunity to do the mini project, or during the summer vacation, or even outside the coursework, you can create some small project with the interested faculty members. We also have the Startup Incubation Center here. There are many programs and the conferences that ongo. There are many contests where it is requested that people submit some prototypes. So it all depends upon our interest areas and what time we have, and what kind of team can we set up together, because most of the places I have seen request a team of maybe 2 to 3 people along with a faculty member or without a faculty member, and then we go ahead. So my suggestion is to look at the ideas and the problem statement, and try to then utilize the lab resources and the other computational resources to create small prototypes. So once you are on the campus and want to discuss further, you can discuss with any of the faculty member, including me.
Thank you, Professor Chaudhary. There's one more question. We have a course, Anish is asking, we have a course on quantum information in the second semester. Can anyone give any insights on that? Any member here present would like to share some insights on the quantum information course? Because it's not hosted by our department, but...
Yeah, so that course is actually part of program linked science component. So foundations of quantum information processing, right? And it will be taught by faculty members who are working in interdisciplinary research platform, quantum information computing. So that is to basically, give you the foundational aspects of what is quantum mechanics, and then how can we utilize it for, solving engineering problems like information processing, communication, computing, and that will set a foundation for, because see, this is the technology which is probably going to be one of the major game changer in the future. So while we are at IIT, we are not only preparing students who can contribute to the industry in coming 3 to 4 years or 5 years. We like to give you all the foundational aspects from science, which will enable you to do learning on your own, and the basics would be taught here, and how things and technology evolve, how industry evolves. You would be better prepared. You would not be afraid of jumping into that subject or the technology domain, because you have the sound fundamentals about the knowledge, and you may also build it up if there is a interdisciplinary specialization which is in the process of making. Probably by the time you have to opt for a specialization, that option will also be there. Right, so this is mainly a subject which looks at, from the fundamental science, fundamental side on the quantum information processing.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. One more question. Can we do interdisciplinary with specialization or minor? Shubham, are you asking whether the specializations are interdisciplinary, or if you want to do interdisciplinary specialization, is that
I think the question is like, can we do interdisciplinary specialization or minor? So the answer is yes. Not all interdisciplinary specializations which are available in the institute, but for electrical engineering, I think there are already 4 or 5 interdisciplinary specializations which are available. We have already, talked about them. Like AI is one of them. Robotics and mobility system is another one. Smart healthcare is another one. Quantum information would be another, and quantum information and computing. And then there are minors like management, entrepreneurship, and there might be other, other options which would be made available, because these things are evolving. So you may have more options. So, but yeah, you can do one of these things, either a department specialization or interdisciplinary specialization or a minor. Because see, we have limited number of credits that you can take, and we are talking about completing all these requirements within the 4 years of your stay at IIT Jodhpur, which is a regular stay period, right? So based on what kind of emphasis, we do not want you to be only studying, right? Because that's not good for your overall growth. So you have to be participating in other kind of co-curricular, extracurricular activities and life beyond that, right? So there is a upper limit on number of credits that a student can take in a particular semester, that is 25, right? So given that limit and the regular program structure of BTech Electrical Engineering or any other program for that matter, you will not be in a position to take more than like one specialization, whether it's departmental, interdisciplinary, or minor. Okay, I hope that I have answered your question.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. If there are any other questions, please go ahead. At this point, the forum is all yours. If any of the students also wish to introduce themselves, please just unmute yourself and go ahead. We would also love to hear from you. If not, I'll share the details of the 3D platform that I was talking about. The platform is Frame VR, shared with you right now. So what you see here, when I'll share the link with you, just I'll put it in the chat. You'll see this option. You connect Okay. And you land in an environment like this. Okay. So the first thing I want you to do is go to setting over here on the side. And here in your name tag, it will by default be anonymous. I need you to change it to your real name along with your roll number. Okay. If you want, you can also customize your avatar. It will by default be an Android avatar. And then you can walk around. So we have placed this right outside this virtual environment is placed right outside our department. These blue lines that you see, these are private voice zones. That means once you enter this voice zone, you will be able to talk to each other. I'll share a link in just a little while, Kushal. Once you enter this private zone, you can hear people who are within this zone. Okay, you won't be able to hear people outside. And outside people will not be able to hear you. So this is just so that, people want to talk to each other. There is no disturbance. Like this, there are private voice zones in each of these rooms, subrooms. So you can go ahead and interact with each other. I would also strongly advise you to take a step outside. And what you see outside, this is right outside our department. Okay, so this is our department essentially. Okay. So take a walk around, talk to each other, talk to us. We would love to talk to you and understand what your thoughts are. Before I share the link, let me just take a brief moment to thank everyone, because I know you will not come back to this meet after going to this link.
There is one question from student Bhavya Mehta.
Okay.
That how can a student of non-CS branch can learn coding to get into IT jobs?
Okay,
so,
yes, please take
yeah. So
please
that
take.
question, yeah. So Bhavya, like what you can do is that, see, there is one course on computer programming, right? Either the C language or Python would be taught, most likely C. And other than that course, there are like, this e-society and similar kind of societies are there from CS department also. They do organize some coding workshops. We will help you, get familiarized with coding and whatever fears you may have related to programming, those will be addressed. So just get involved, share your feedback, what your requirements are, and then there will be these kind of efforts made from the institute side to get you started. And beyond that, it's your own initiatives. Please participate in competitive coding competitions or hackathons which are being organized by different agencies from time to time, and keep learning, right? So that will help you go into this kind of you become a good programmer. And then what kind of job you want, let's not decide that today. Okay, let's decide that after 3 years.
One more question. Is robotics linked to mechanics or electrical branch? It's an interdisciplinary field.
Yeah, it's an interdisciplinary thing. So it is being jointly offered, right? So there are a lot of electrical engineering faculty members who are part of this IDRP on robotics and mobility systems. So it is a combination of both, and as well as CS also. Like there is a lot of things which are from CS also. Okay. Fine, I think.
Okay, so if you have more questions, you of course can continue to post them here. Some of us, some of the faculty members will be here if you do have some more questions or want to talk about something. Again, I would like to thank everyone for joining, our head for sharing his thoughts. Special thanks to Professor Manoj Chaudhary for taking out the time and speaking to our young students. All the students who joined us today are senior students and the alumnus. Sumant, thank you for taking out the time to share your thoughts. Also, thank you to all the program coordinators, the specialization coordinators, and all the faculty members for joining today, for sharing and interacting. I invite all the faculty members also to join that frame link. I'll share it just in a second on on chat. Thank you again. Thank you all the students and all the parents who may have joined this orientation with you. We again, on behalf of the entire department, welcome you to electrical engineering, and we hope the next 4 years are absolutely memorable for you. Thank you. Thank you so much.